In this video, I'm going to show you how I recently got from this to this in just a matter of a month. I'll show you how I got my first pull-up, as well as everything you need to know to get it, from building the necessary strength to perfecting your technique. Whether you're a complete beginner or you're just trying to improve your pull-up game, this video is for you. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so first thing you need to keep in mind, don't be insanely obese, right? I'll keep it real with y'all. If you have a body fat over 20%, then just forget about pull-ups and just focus on start cutting up weight first. If you're fat, then it's going to be much harder for you to get a pull-up because just keep in mind, you have all of this extra body fat that you don't need in your body, and that's just going to act like a vest that just pulls you down. It's gonna feel real heavy, and just focus on cutting up some weight first. So focus on getting into between 10 to 20% body fat. I'm not saying you have to be skinny, but I'm not saying that you have to be fat. Just find the middle point between the two, alright? Now let's get into the real plan, alright? So the first day, so this plan consists of a month or two, but it's, in theory, it's supposed to be a month and a half, something like that, right? Considering that you aren't fat, as I said earlier, and you just have the physical capabilities. All right. Um, so first you need to make sure you can dead hang for about 20 to 30 seconds. Now dead hangs aren't going to be important when you're doing pull-ups, but they do help on your grip strength, right? So the grip strength is basically how strong are you hanging from the bar. So the longer you can do a dead hang, the stronger your grip strength is, alright? Now let's get into the real plan, alright? So you have two options, alright? You can use resistant bands, which are pretty much just like elastic bands that you tie onto the pull-up bar, and just pretty much and you tie it to the pull-up bar, and then you put it under your feet, so it's pretty much easier to go up and down. You can think of it as like you're putting weight off of you, right? So that's kind of what the resistant band does. And then over time, progressively, get a lower resistance on the band, and eventually you get your pull up. But I haven't tried that strategy, though many people did, and it did work for them. So I'm not saying it won't work for you. If you're broke like me, then you have to focus on this plan that I did and that worked for me, all right? So the plan that worked for me was the following. Day one is a testing day. Okay, we're going to do a dead hang to failure, and then once you do that, write the number down. So maybe it's like 15 20 seconds. All right, so write that down. Make sure you go to failure. Don't get off when you feel like getting off. Make sure that you get off when you actually can't go any longer. All right, so that's what failure looks like. Then after your dead hang, get a minute or two of rest. Now, get as much rest as possible. I'm not saying get like 10 minutes rest, a couple of minutes of rest should be enough, all right? Then you're going to do inverted rows to failure. So inverted rows are pretty much like some kind of variation of the pull-up, but the pull-up bar is actually on your hip level. Well, you can adjust it over time, but I like starting at hip level, all right? Then you get on the floor and you just kind of pull up and pull down, all right? So I really like doing inverted rows because they target the same muscle groups as a pull-up, but they actually are pretty easier, or much easier, and you can adjust the and to progressively overload, you can put the bar down and use a lower elevation. As the weeks pass, make sure that you progress. All right, just make sure that you progress in some way by lowering the bar or doing more reps. Just do as many reps as possible. Right. So for this set, one set only. So you want to do as many reps as possible. Right. Failure reps. Once you do that, maybe it's like 10, 12 reps. You write that number down. So make sure it's at hip level. Otherwise, well, I mean, if you want, you can start at need level, but that's just kind of your ego getting in the way, and you don't really want that happening. Just start on hip level, all right? Don't overcomplicate it. After that, just get some rest. As I said earlier, doesn't have to be too long, just enough for your body to recover. After that, you're going to do negative pull-ups to failure. All right, so negative pull-ups are basically pull-ups, but you're just working the eccentric part of the exercise, which is pretty much going down. You're not going up, you're just going down. All right, back when I couldn't do a pull-up and I started doing negative pull-ups, something I did wrong was that I let my ego get in the way, and said, "Oh yeah, I can do 12 reps easy," but then you have to keep in mind that you have to hold it for a couple seconds in order for the exercise to be efficient and in order for you to have a good form. All right, so you have to hold it for 2 seconds, but as you're doing the exercise, you start to realize that it's not actually that easy. It's quite complicated, especially if you're a beginner and you weigh like 70 kilos. So do one set of failure of negative pull-ups and then write that number down. Negative pull-ups will help you get the necessary strength you need for doing a normal pull-up, alright? Next on the list is chair-assisted pull-ups. Chair-assisted pull-up kind of act the same way that a pull-up with a resistance band does, because you're using your feet as assistance. Now, you don't want to turn this exercise into a squat, so this kind of means that you're not really using your arms to move up. You're just using more of your legs to move up and down. So you don't really want that. You want to feel sore on your arms and on your back, right? So if you feel sore on your legs more than you do on your arms, then that's a sign that you're doing the exercise wrong, and you need to repeat it again, right? So I really like chair assisted pull ups because they get you used to the motion of doing a pull up, right? I heard that if you become better at push ups, so that means like you basically do more reps of push ups, then you actually become better at pull ups. But this is something I haven't tested myself, so I'm not here to say I'm not saying that this works, but I'm not saying it doesn't. You can try it out for yourself and see if it works for you. If it does, if this method works for you, leave it in the comments. Leave in the comments down below, because I want to know if it genuinely works and it's not just like some bullshit. For days 2, 3, and 4, you want to do 50% of the reps of each exercise. So for example, let's say on inverted rows you got 12 reps. For days 2, 3, and 4, you want to do six reps for 2 sets. All right, and the next week you want to do like try to go for 7 reps. But if you can't do that, like I have a video right here. I'm not sure which corner of the video it is, but I have a video that I talk to you about how to increase your reps. So click it. I'm not sure where it is, but yeah, you can click it, and it's a pretty simple method that many people use, and I use myself to increase my reps. Try to progressively increase your reps. Okay. Same thing goes for negative pull-ups and chair-assisted pull-ups. Um, for days 2, 3, and 4, you want to do 50% of the reps of your max set. And then the next week, you want to do another testing day. So let's see how much stronger you got, and try doing a normal pull-up. But I don't think you can do like in 1 week. I don't think you can do a pull-up, but it's okay. Don't rush the pro. Progressively overload, and I guarantee you that you'll see results. So we've gone through the plan. Now I'm gonna give you some tips. So tip number 1: don't rush the process. All right, this is something you hear all the time on whether that's like YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels. So like these motivation videos, right? So don't rush the process. All right. For me, it took me a month to get my first pull-up. For you, it may be more or it may be less. Um, I understand that it can be a bit embarrassing if you can't do a pull up, especially if you're a guy. Like if you're a girl, like, yeah, I don't like it's not embarrassing. Let's be real, all right. If a girl can't do a pull up, then that's fine, all right. That's acceptable. But if a guy can't do a pull up, that's kind of embarrassing, all right, because you know we're supposed to be strong and dominant. Yeah, whatever. The second tip I'll give you is to make sure that you don't let your ego get in the way, all right. So this is something I did. So I remember one day I went to the calisthenics park, and then I tried to do a pull up. This is the day that I figured it out that I couldn't do a pull up. All right, so I went to the calisthenics park, and there was a lot of people there. All right, so I went like, yeah, let's do some pull ups, and then I figured that, and then I figured that I couldn't do any pull ups, and I was like, oh shit, that's actually kind of embarrassing. But then it wasn't up to it wasn't up till like a couple of months later from that day that I actually wanted to do a pull up press. So don't let your ego get in the way. Progress slowly, and eventually you get your first pull up. If you're embarrassed to work in the gym, try working out at home. Get a pull up bar. Like I have mine over there. Hold on, let me show you guys. I have my pull up bar over there. Not sure if you can see it yet. So that's the pull-up bar. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smack that like button and subscribe. Watch this video now, but until next time, see you later.